Everyone is scared that AI will replace artists and most creative people and their work. But personally, I feel that we're targeting the wrong people and the wrong jobs. The last 6 months, my feed has been bombarded with slop. Thousands of AI-generated cat videos, people using Suno AI to make tracks, and an AI artist even going #1 on the Billboard charts. And while I appreciate the fact that you chose to prompt a cat getting scared on VO3 rather than shooting one in real life, I just can't help but ask myself, why? The fact that we're willing to destroy our climate and our energy requirements just so we can generate a song faster or make a realistic video doesn't seem like a good enough payoff to me. Honestly, it seems like the most useless use case of such powerful technology. In this video, I want to discuss 7 jobs that I think AI should actually replace instead of musicians, artists, writers, engineers, or drivers. Let's keep score. Job 1. Chief Executive Officers or CEOs. The CEO is supposed to be the person who takes sound decisions for everyone in the company, including its shareholders. In reality, this role has now shifted to that of a stock price gambler and a financial performer who is busy cooking up books. In 2024, the average S&P CEO made $18.9 million every year, which is roughly 285x the median worker. Since the 1970s, the pay scale of CEOs went up by 1,000%, while the worker wages have barely moved. In 1965, the pay scale difference was 20:1. And the best part is these CEOs are bad at what they do. They perform worse than random probability. It's hilarious. According to the Harvard Business Review, 70 to 90% of all mergers and acquisitions fail. And these deals have single-handedly destroyed over $226 billion in shareholder value over the last 20 years. Visionary CEOs, the kind that boards love hiring, are 65% more likely to lead these failures because of overconfidence and excessive risk-taking. The CEO skill set, which is fundamentally analyzing the markets, allocating capital and reducing risk, is something that probability-based systems already do better. And what better probability-based system than artificial intelligence? If you automate CEOs, you roughly recapture $250 billion per year in compensation, $1.2 trillion in bad and failed mergers and acquisitions, and almost $2 trillion in smarter capital allocation. Someone please automate the damn C-suite. Job 2. Middle managers. If CEOs are the trillion-dollar mistake at the top, middle managers are the layer of friction that slows down everything, especially progress. In theory, middle management is supposed to be the belt that connects everything in the company, the glue that keeps companies afloat. But we all know that that's not true. Middle managers have single-handedly added a layer of inefficient bureaucracy to the simplest of decisions. Not to mention gatekeeping, playing favorites, over-reporting and underperforming. They're literally the fat clogged in the arteries of companies, causing the whole world a financial heart attack. Excessive middle management bureaucracy is estimated to cost the US $3 trillion a year. Globally, once you add Europe and Asia, that climbs to around $9 trillion. $9 trillion GDP-wise would be the third largest country in the world. The job of middle management, which is task routing, task supervision, scheduling and reporting, is easily automatable. I'm sure ChatGPT knows how to set up reminders and ask people if their job is done. It's not rocket science or engineering, the tasks these companies actually want to automate. In a high automation middle management scenario, we will save the world almost $9 trillion annually, nearly 10% of the global GDP. Get rid of this bureaucratic mess, I say. Job 3. HR Salary Negotiators. If Seaton had to dream up a job, he would have surely created this one. These are professional low-ballers hired by companies as a part of their corporate structure. Their sole job is to negotiate your salary and wages. They deliberately keep wages different in the same layer of workers, and workers are not allowed to share the information of their paychecks. This creates low trust between the workers due to everyone knowing that their pay scales are unbalanced. Their economic function is simple. Minimize the wage bill using information that you don't have. Make sure you don't tell each other what you're paid so you don't protest your pay. They know the pay bands and the true budget. You don't. This gap of knowledge creates the true wealth discrepancy between the CEOs and the workers of the company. Companies spend thousands of dollars per year on HR systems and stuff, then lose more money when underpaid workers leave. On top of that, human bias flows straight into the pay, which is why gender and racial pay gaps are so persistent. And while automating compensation logic and negotiation could save the world around $300 billion a year, I for one don't know a single purpose this job serves besides creating a low-trust company, so more money can be siphoned off to the top. Someone please get rid of this mess. Job 4. Corporate lobbyists. Corporate lobbyists create some of the highest ROI in the world. For every $1 spent on lobbying, firms get approximately $226 back in tax breaks. That's a scary 22,000% ROI. Combined, the US and Europe spend around $5 billion a year lobbying. In Asia, South America, and Africa, we don't even have these figures. But let's say another $5 billion spent on lobbying. That's a rough figure of around $10 billion per year. At 22,000% ROI, that is $2.2 trillion the world has lost due to tax breaks. Money that could have gone in the development of the public infrastructure of our countries. And while AI can't make people honest, it can analyze everything that a corporate lobbyist is supposed to do. It can read every bill, flag every hidden rider, and point out systemic corruption to citizens in minutes. Give that to journalists, watchdogs, and citizens, and we can actually have a government which is accountable to its citizens. But let's be honest, nobody in the government would want that, would they? In a high adoption, hypothetical world, reducing corporate lobbying and loopholes could free up to $2.5 trillion a year. Job number 5, music A&R executives. Since I'm a musician and I get a Suno AI ad every day, I had to do this one. The other day, I was watching a label executive on YouTube talking about how they're encouraging all their artists to use AI tools like Suno or Udio to speed up the number of tracks they can put out and get approved or not by the label. This got me really thinking, and I realized that there would be no easier job to automate in the world than that of an A&R executive. Let's look at the facts. 90% of signed artists never recoup their advances. The A&R is wrong most of the time. On top of it, in the last few years, artists have to go viral themselves before they ever see a label deal. So the main job of the A&R, which is talent scouting, is also not being done. If streams and view count is the basis on which A&R signs new artists, then that means that talent discovery now is a data problem and not a taste or vision one. Your taste fundamentally means nothing because that's not how you're signing artists. AI tools can already scan streams, playlist ads, and TikTok trends, and social engagement. If these are the parameters on the basis of which who gets signed, then this completely eliminates the need of A&R. If artists and musicians can be replaced by AI, the human who sits in the middle deciding which AI track he thinks will work best with the masses can certainly be replaced. Job number 6, active fund managers. These are my favorite, most useless people on earth for sure. According to the SPIway US Scorecard 2025, 94% of active fund managers underperformed the benchmark indexes for the last 20 years. Passive index funds, which are simple algorithms which buy the whole market, already beat most active funds. Just buy the S&P 500 or the Nifty 50 monthly and relax. It's already better than an active fund manager. Global assets under management right now sit at over $140 trillion. So let's say now we get rid of all fund managers with the fees of around 1 to 2%. So let's say roughly $1.4 to $2.8 trillion. Even if half those funds are actively managed, you save around $700 billion to $1.4 trillion every year. At the lower estimate, that's 23 times the size of the global music industry. Job 7, government officials and politicians. In this, I'm not talking about the clerk at the window or even the leaders of a political movement, but the people who sign off on government budgets and contracts. Corruption alone is estimated by the UN to cost the world around $3.6 trillion a year, which is roughly 5% of the global GDP. That's bribes, inflated contracts, projects which never went anywhere, stolen funds. And while I'm not suggesting that AI runs or governs our countries, but it can definitely take care of the plumbing. It can monitor every public contract in real time, flag fraud and overpricing, and track where the money actually goes. It can run simulations of policy proposals and whether they will fail or succeed before they're ever put into action. We can still fight over semantics, but I do think that we deserve better roads and public infrastructure. Even partial automation of procurement, oversight, and fraud detection by AI could recapture up to $4 trillion a year for things like climate, healthcare, and infrastructure. The $20 trillion gap. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and think a little bigger. Automating just these 7 roles: CEOs, middle managers, HR negotiators, lobbyists, A&Rs, fund managers, and politicians who sign off on government contracts. In high adoption scenarios, unlocks around $20 trillion a year in money put back into the global pool. Global GDP is roughly $100 to $110 trillion per year. So that's close to 20% of all human economic output, recovered just by pointing AI upwards at the decision-making class instead of downward at the workers. Now compare that to the jobs that AI is actually marketed to replace. Writers, musicians, visual artists, junior coders, software engineers, or the so-called creative class. Even if there were 1 million professional writers on decent salaries, their total wage bill might come to around $70 billion per year. The entire recorded music industry in revenue makes only $30 billion per year. Engineers are the big ticket items which these companies are so desperate to replace. There are around 20 million developers in the world, earning roughly maybe $70,000 each. So $1.4 trillion in total wages, and this is the upper limit. Let's be generous and include every person from every creative role imaginable. You'll still end up saving only about $1.5 to $2 trillion per year maximum. So in the extreme sci-fi scenario, where AI replaces every writer, every engineer, every musician in the world, you'd still save only about a tenth of what you would save if you eliminated just these 7 jobs. While destroying invention, weird ideas, and filling our culture with AI slop no one asked for. And as a disclaimer here, I'm not an anti-technologist. I use ChatGPT, I use Gemini. They are great organizational tools for my workflow. AI can process and organize data at speeds I can't even imagine. I'm not anti-AI as a technology at all. I don't have a problem with the gun, but I do have a problem with who it's aimed at. If you stayed for so long, thank you so much for watching. And please leave a comment and let me know what you think is the best use case of a technology as powerful as AI. As a musician myself, I love sharing my music with you, and here's a song I made recently that I'm really proud of. I'm also excited to share that new music from me is coming very soon, and I'm very excited to share that. If you prefer more of these talking head style of videos, here's a video you might like. If you liked or felt anything at all, please leave a comment. I would love to connect with you.